Chapter 5:15. Sure, I'll help you register. How many soul-sealing crystals do you want to buy? The old man asked. The soul-sealing crystal was able to seal souls. As long as one killed the martial artists of the Heavenly Corpse sect and sealed their souls in the soul-sealing crystal, bringing it back to the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace, they would naturally know how many corpse guards they had killed. Moreover, some inscription masters could also use the souls of martial artists to refine some strange things. Normally, they were not allowed to kill other martial artists, seal their souls, and use them for cultivation. However, the Heavenly Corpse sect was an enemy of the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace, and they also cultivated evil martial arts. Naturally, there was no problem. I want to buy 100 soul-sealing crystals, Lu Ming said after pondering for a while. 100 pieces? Little guy, your appetite is not small. The old man was slightly shocked and looked at Lu Ming a few more times in surprise. I'm just buying a few more in case I need them. Lu Ming smiled. Millimeter, all right. Soul-sealing crystals, 10 supreme-grade spirit crystals each. 100 pieces, a total of 1,000 supreme-grade spirit crystals. As the old man spoke, he took out a box. Inside the box were pieces of dark red crystals with distinct edges and corners. These were soul-sealing crystals. Lu Ming also took out 1,000 supreme-grade spirit crystals and handed them to the old man. Then, he kept the soul-sealing crystals and walked out. After a while, Lu Ming left Tianqian City and turned into a bolt of lightning, heading north. The entrance to the Scaled Demon Plain was 5 million miles north of Tianqian City. Even with Lu Ming's speed, it would take him a few days. In Tianqian City, in Sheng Yu's courtyard, someone was reporting to Sheng Yu. Lu Ming has already accepted the mission of the Scaled Demon Plain in the mission hall. A young man reported to Sheng Yu. Sheng Jiang and a few other experts were also at the side. As I expected, Lu Ming has indeed accepted the mission of the Scaled Demon Plain. Now, the news has spread. Also, it's time for us to set off, Sheng Yu said as killing intent flickered in his eyes. It's finally here. Lu Ming, let's see who can save you this time. Not only do I want you to die, but I also want your reputation to be ruined. Sheng Kong gnashed his teeth. Within the Sheng family, if one were to ask who hated Lu Ming the most, it would definitely be him. He had already been abused by Lu Ming twice. In addition, Sheng Feng was in a similar situation. His entire fortune had been taken away by Lu Ming, so how could he not hate him? Lu Ming, how dare you steal my storage ring? I'll make you spit it out 10 times over. Sheng Feng roared inwardly. 3 days later, Lu Ming crossed 5 million miles and appeared in a small city. The entrance to the Scaled Demon Plain was in this small city. It was obvious that this small city was newly built. It was built because of the Scaled Demon Plain's entrance. It had only been a few months. Lu Ming walked into the small city and headed towards a huge palace in the center of the city. The entrance of the palace was guarded by the experts of the Emperor Heavenly Deity Palace. It wasn't just the entrance. Some experts were stationed in the surrounding stone houses to prevent the Heavenly Corpse sect from launching a sneak attack. Halt. If you want to enter the Scaled Demon Plain, verify your identity first. At the entrance, a burly man blocked Lu Ming's path. Lu Ming took out the Divine Guard token and handed it to the burly man. After the burly man checked it, he nodded and said, "You can go in now." Lu Ming put away the Divine Guard token and walked into the Great Hall. The Great Hall was very spacious. There was only a black vortex with inscriptions shining around it. This was the entrance to the Scaled Demon Plain. Lu Ming stepped in without hesitation. Heaven and earth spun. The next moment, Lu Ming discovered that he had appeared in a huge square. A burst of noise entered Lu Ming's ears. Only then did Lu Ming discover that there were many people in the square. All of them were young men and women below the age of 30. They gathered in groups of 3 to 5. Some were chatting with each other, some were sitting cross-legged with their eyes closed. Lu Ming glanced around and discovered that there were no less than a few hundred people. In front of the square, there was a majestic high wall. It was 300 meters tall and surrounded the entire square. This high wall was built to defend against the attacks of the scaled demon race. This was because this was the place where the Di-Tien divine guards set out. It was also the place where they rested and gathered. To the scaled demon race, they were outsiders and invaders. Naturally, the scaled demon race hated them and would attack them. Come, come, come. Our team is still short of one person. Who is willing to join our team? Once your cultivation has reached the second martial king realm, we will set off immediately. Come, our team is short of a martial artist who has comprehended the concept of wood. As long as you know a few healing techniques, you can join us. Our team is short of a martial artist who has comprehended the concept of earth and is good at defense. Who wants to join us? At this moment, shouts entered Lu Ming's ears. This was the Di-Tien divine guards forming a team to hunt the corpse guards of the heavenly corpse sect and search for treasures. The concept of each element was good at different aspects. For example, the wind was good at speed. For example, the fire was good at explosive power. For example, the concept of wood was good at healing and healing. As for the concepts of earth and mountain, they were good at defense. Only when many people were in a team and their concepts complemented each other, could they unleash the strongest power. After all, it was too dangerous to go alone. Brother, you don't look familiar. Is this your first time entering the scaled demon race? At this moment, 4 young men and women walked towards Lu Ming. 3 men and 1 woman. Walking at the front was a burly young man. He looked simple and honest, and there was a sincere smile on his face as he looked at Lu Ming. The one who spoke just now was this young man. Yes, it is my first time here. Lu Ming said. Oh, I am Han Man. How should I address you? Han Man cupped his fists and said with a smile. I am Lu Ming. Lu Ming replied. So it's Brother Lu. Brother Lu, our team just happens to be short of one person. I wonder if Brother Lu can join us to hunt the corpse guards of the heavenly corpse sect. Han Man said with a sincere look in his eyes. Lu Ming pondered for a moment and was a little hesitant. Brother Lu, this is Yarrow Xian. She has just joined our team. Now, our team is short of one person. After all, the strength of 4 people is too weak. With Brother Lu, we can set off. Han Man pointed at the woman and said. The woman looked to be about 23 or 24 years old. She had a petite figure and an extremely delicate appearance. At this moment, she was looking at Lu Ming with a timid look. At this moment, Han Man continued, moreover, this is Brother Lu's first time in the scaled demon race. You might not be familiar with everything. If you join our team, we can discuss with each other. Okay, I'll join. Lu Ming pondered for a moment and nodded. Indeed, as Han Man said, this was his first time in the scaled demon race. There were many things that he didn't understand. He was even more clueless about the geography of the scaled demon race. It was necessary to first join a team and familiarize himself with it. Chapter 5:16. Moreover, Han Man and the others seemed to be sincere. They should be willing to cooperate with him, so Lu Ming agreed. Seeing Lu Ming agree, Han Man was overjoyed and said, That's great. Brother Lu, let me introduce you. Han Man immediately introduced them. Han Man's cultivation was at the late 3rd layer martial king realm. Yarrow Xian's cultivation was at the peak of the 2nd layer martial king realm. The other 2 young men were a pair of brothers named Mu Lin and Mu Senator. One of them was at the early 3rd layer martial king realm, while the other was at the peak of the 2nd layer martial king realm. Each of them was good at different intents. Some were good at defense, while others were good at attacking. Alright, since everyone is here, let's go, Han Man said. Immediately, the 5 of them walked toward the giant wall. There was a giant stone door at the bottom of the wall. The 5 of them walked out of the stone door. Outside the wall was a boundless mountain range. The area around the rendezvous point has been explored. Treasures and power Upanishad crystals have been taken. We have to go to a wider area to find more opportunities and treasures. However, the wider the area, the more treasures there are, the more dangerous it is because there are many scaled demons there. What do you think? Han Man asked the others. We have no objections. Mu Lin and Mu Sen nodded. I have no objections either. Yarrow Xian said timidly. I have no objections either. Lu Ming said with a smile. All right, let's go. It's best if we can find a small tribe of scaled demons. Then we'll be rich. Han Man's eyes glittered. According to their experience, there would be an ultimacy crystal pit in a tribe of scaled demons. They could dig out ultimacy crystals from there. Whoosh, whoosh. The 5 of them flew into the sky and headed toward the depths of the scaled demon plain. The scaled demon plain was extremely huge. It was definitely one of the top small plains. It could even be considered a middle-sized plain. The area was so vast that it could be described as boundless. The Emperor Heaven Divine Palace and the Heavenly Corpse sect had discovered the scaled demon plain for a few months, but they had yet to explore its borders. The 5 of them continued to fly. A day later, they had already flown nearly 1,000,000 miles. When they arrived at this place, their speed slowed down. This was because the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace did not send many people to scout this place. Hence, the danger level was correspondingly higher. Look, that's black forest grass. Suddenly, Mu Lin pointed at a mountain peak in front of them and shouted. Lu Ming looked over and sure enough, on the cliff of the mountain peak, he saw a patch of black spiritual grass. There were about a dozen of them, and they looked like black jade, flickering with a luster. That was the black forest grass, a level 5 middle-grade spirit grass. Its price was extremely high. Ha ha ha, I didn't expect to see more than a dozen level 5 spiritual herbs as soon as we came in. Our luck is really good. Han Man smiled. Lu Ming sighed in his heart. As expected of a newly discovered plain, its resources were abundant. If it was outside, level 5 spiritual herbs would be extremely rare. It was basically very difficult to find level 5 spiritual herbs in the wild. They had long been plucked clean. Most of them were cultivated artificially, or they could only appear in some remote mountains, great swamps, or some dangerous places. There were also some mystic realms and plains. Let's pluck them and divide them equally, Han Man said. The 5 of them flew towards the cliff, and with a sweep of their inner yuan, they plucked the black forest grass from its roots. Our luck is really good. There are exactly 15 of them. We'll each take 5. Han Man grinned. Then, each of them received 5 stalks, and a smile appeared on their faces. Let's take a look around and see if there are any other spiritual herbs, Han Man suggested. Okay. Everyone nodded in agreement and began to search the nearby mountain peaks. Lu Ming also dashed into a mountain peak alone, scanning the area with his gaze. Hey! Could this be a 1,000-year-old purple mushroom? Lu Ming found a purple mushroom under an ancient tree. Rich spiritual essence emanated from this mushroom. The spiritual essence was even stronger than the black forest grass from before. This was an upper level 5 spiritual herb, 1 level higher than the black forest grass. Lu Ming was overjoyed and kept it. Lu Ming's current physical body had reached complete level 6. If he wanted to break through, level 5 spiritual herbs would be useless. He needed level 6 spiritual herbs. Although level 5 spiritual herbs could not help Lu Ming break through, they could be sold for a high price. The more of such things, the better. Lu Ming was excited and was about to continue his search. Boom! On a mountain peak not far away, there was a sudden explosion. Scaled demon tribe. A loud roar was heard. It was Mu Lin's voice. Lu Ming's figure moved and he dashed in that direction. Whoosh! A figure rushed out from a mountain peak, looking very pathetic. Behind him, more than 10 burly figures of more than 2 meters tall chased after him. These figures looked very strange. Their facial features and body shapes were similar to humans, but their bodies were covered in pitch-black scales that covered their bodies like armor. This was the scaled demon tribe. Wah! Wah! These scaled devils roared wildly, but no one could understand what they were saying. They brandished their battle axes and iron rods, attacking Mu Lin. 1 was equivalent to peak level 2 Martial King, 3 were equivalent to early level 2 Martial King, 2 were equivalent to level 1 Martial King, and the rest were half king. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. No wonder Mu Lin had to run away. His cultivation was only at peak level 2 Martial King. Facing so many scaled demons, he was no match. Whoosh! Lu Ming rushed forward. Wah wah! An early-stage second-level martial king scaled demon roared and charged toward Lu Ming with a battle axe in his hand. The battle axe was swung with a terrifying force. This kind of scaled demon tribe had a terrifying physical strength and a strange power similar to true Yuan, but not the same. Whoosh! Lu Ming's long spear shook and shot out like a bolt of lightning. Poochie! The scaled demon's forehead was penetrated. The scaled demon roared and fell to the ground. Such tough scales. Lu Ming mumbled. Even the scaled demon tribe's face was covered with tough scales. Lu Ming felt a great resistance when he thrust his spear downward. Meanwhile, Han Man, Mu Sen, and Yarou Xian had arrived and attacked the scaled demons. Han Man's cultivation was at the peak level 3 martial king realm, thus his strength was extremely powerful. The scaled demon tribe was completely suppressed by him and was slain in just a few moves. Lu Ming thrust his spear forward, which turned into rays of spear light. Puff! Puff! 5 or 6 scaled demons were penetrated by the spear light and fell to the ground. Not long after, these scaled demons were all killed. Based on past experience, these scaled demons should be a hunting group from a scaled demon tribe. They were out hunting and happened to stumble into us. Chapter 517. A hunting squad from the scaled demon race? If that's the case, then there might be a scaled demon tribe nearby. Mu Sen's eyes lit up. If there was a scaled demon race tribe, it meant that there was a profound crystal pit nearby. The others' eyes lit up as well. The Ultimacy crystal was an irresistible temptation for warriors above the martial king realm, as it could greatly speed up their cultivation. I just don't know how big this tribe is, and how strong is it? Mu Lin said. They had to consider this point. If it was a small tribe, they could consider it. If it was a bigger tribe, they could only give up. Disregarding everything else, if there was an existence equivalent to a king in this tribe, they would be dead for sure. However, they were unwilling to give up just like that. How about this? It's not easy to find a scaled demon race tribe in the vast mountains. Let's find this tribe first and check out its strength before making a decision. How about that? Han Man suggested. Okay, I have no objections. The others nodded. Lu Ming naturally wouldn't object. Lu Ming was also very eager for profound crystals. Immediately, the 5 of them split up and searched the nearby area. A few hours later, they found something. There was a scaled demon race tribe more than 30,000 li away. The scaled demons from before must have come from this tribe. The group carefully approached and observed from a mountain peak not far away. There was a simple stone house in front of them. The scaled demons lived in the stone house. Around this stone house, there were tall stone walls. There are about 100 stone houses. The number of scaled demons shouldn't exceed 500. This is a small tribe, Han Man said in a low voice. Generally speaking, a small scaled demon race tribe shouldn't have too many experts, and there shouldn't be an existence equivalent to a king. We should be able to deal with it, Mu Sen said. That's right. When the time comes, as long as we kill the strongest scaled demons in the tribe, the others won't be a threat. We can then start digging for the profound crystal pit. Han Man nodded. Lu Ming and Yarou Xian didn't say anything. It was their first time coming to the scaled demon plane. They lacked experience and naturally wouldn't speak. Brother Lu, Miss Yao, what do you think? Han Man looked at Lu Ming and Yarou Xian. I have no objections. I'll just follow your arrangement. Yarou Xian whispered. I have no objections either. Lu Ming smiled. All right, then we'll wait until it's dark and rush in, Han Man said. Then, everyone waited quietly. Time flew by, and night soon arrived. The scaled demon tribe was plunged into darkness. Let's go, Han Man said. Wait. At this moment, Lu Ming suddenly spoke, and his voice was extremely low. What happened? Han Man and the others were puzzled, but in the next moment, their expressions changed slightly. Huff huff. Suddenly, 5 pitch-black coffins broke through the dark night sky and flew towards the tribe. People from the Heavenly Corpse sect. Yarrow Xian let out a low cry. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. This was the first time he had met someone from the Heavenly Corpse sect since entering the Scaled Demon Plane. It seems that the Heavenly Corpse sect has also set their sights on this tribe. What should we do? Mu Lin asked. Let's wait and see. This is a good opportunity for the Heavenly Corpse sect to test the strength of this tribe, Han Man said. Han Man looked simple and honest, but in fact, he was very smart and had a strong cultivation. Mu Lin and Mu Sen both followed his lead. In the blink of an eye, the 5 coffins flew into the tribe. Wa. At this moment, the scaled demons in the tribe had also noticed the people from the Heavenly Corpse sect, and they roared loudly. Then, tall figures rushed out from the stone houses. Each of them was covered in black scales, and they held battle axes and iron rods in their hands. They rushed towards the people from the Heavenly Corpse sect. Crack crack, the 5 coffins opened, and 2 refined corpses flew out from each coffin. Swoosh swoosh. The iron chains flew across the sky and stabbed towards the scaled demons. In an instant, some of the weaker scaled demons were stabbed to death. Wa. The scaled demon who flew in the front was the tallest, almost 3 meters tall. His aura was also the strongest, peak LV3 Martial King Realm. Obviously, this scaled demon was the leader of this tribe. He shouted a few times, and some of the scaled demons below the Martial King Realm retreated. Only the scaled demons above the Martial King Realm continued to attack the people from the Heavenly Corpse sect. 2 peak LV3 Martial King Realm refined corpses, and 5 middle and early LV3 Martial King Realm refined corpses, Han Man whispered. His voice was full of fear. The strength of the Heavenly Corpse sect surpassed them and the Scaled Demon tribe in all aspects. Although the Scaled Demon tribe had the advantage in numbers, it was still one-sided after the battle broke out. The Scaled Demons were killed one by one. Other than the tallest Scaled Demon, there were 2 other Scaled Demons who had reached LV3 Martial King Realm. The gap between them and the Heavenly Corpse sect was too big. The gap between their high-level combat strength was too big. Miserable shrieks rang out continuously. The scaled demons below the Martial King Realm also let out miserable shrieks. In the end, regardless of the difference in strength, they rushed towards the refined corpses of the Heavenly Corpse sect. A bunch of uncivilized animals. How dare you resist? You're courting death. A cold voice came from one of the coffins. Then, a young man with a pale face walked out of the coffin. He. But these animals have good bodies. It's not bad to refine them into refined corpses. Another young man with a pale face walked out of another coffin. They were the corpse guards of the Heavenly Corpse sect. 5 young zombie guards walked out of the 5 coffins one after another. Die, animals. The 5 corpse guards sneered. Then, they moved and pounced on the scaled demons below the Martial King Realm. Corpse chi surged. Claw radiance slashed out, killing the scaled demons one by one. Wah. The leader of the scaled demons roared loudly, as if he was incomparably angry. The scaled demons below the Martial King Realm also roared when they heard the leader's roar. Then, they turned around and fled from the tribe. Trying to escape. Die. The 5 corpse guards waved their claws and killed the scaled demons one by one. At the same time, they controlled the refined corpses to kill the scaled demons. Under the siege of 2 refined corpses of the same level, the leader of the scaled demons was finally defeated. His scales were pierced and torn, and he was killed in the end. After a while, the higher-ups of the scaled demons were all killed. Other than a few who escaped, the rest of the scaled demons were all dead, leaving a ground full of corpses. This trip was worth it. Not only did I get some good corpses, but I also got profound crystals. A corpse guard sneered and walked towards the depths of the tribe. What should we do? Chapter 518. Seeing that the fat meat in their mouths was about to fly away, they were unwilling to give up. However, the Heavenly Corpse sect was too strong, far above them. If they rushed forward, they would only end up like the scaled demon tribe. Forget it, let's retreat. The Heavenly Corpse sect is too strong. Han Man said with a frown. The Heavenly Corpse sect had 2 corpses at the peak of the LV3 Martial King realm, and 5 more corpses at the same level. They were too strong, and they were no match for them, not including the 5 corpse guards. The 5 zombie guards were also a strong force. It's not easy to find such a place, how can we miss it so easily? At this moment, Lu Ming spoke. Han Man, Mu Lin, and the others were stunned. Then, they looked at Lu Ming in disbelief. Lu Ming, what are you trying to do? You can't be thinking of killing them, right? That's a dead end. Mu Sen said. How do you know it's a dead end if we haven't fought? Lu Ming smiled and rose to his feet. He stepped into the air and headed toward the Scaled Demon Clan's tribe. Lu Ming. Yao Xian cried out. She wanted to follow Lu Ming, but she didn't dare to. She was hesitating. Han Man, Mu Sen, and Mu Lin looked at each other and didn't follow. Instead, a sinister look flashed in their eyes. Lu Ming's speed was very fast. In a few steps, he appeared in the sky above the Scaled Demon tribe. Who is it? A zombie guard yelled and looked at Lu Ming with a cold gaze. The other 4 zombie guards also looked at Lu Ming. The person who will kill you, Lu Ming said indifferently. His voice was calm, but there was a cold killing intent in his calm voice. Kill us. Haha, with just you? What a joke. A zombie guard laughed, full of disdain. Kid, you're a Di Tian Divine Guard, right? Hee, a Di Tian Divine Guard dares to appear after seeing us. You're courting death. Kill. One of the zombie guards yelled. Whoosh. A refined corpse with a cultivation of the middle stage 3rd layer Martial Emperor realm waved its arms, causing chains to wrap around Lu Ming like poisonous snakes. Boom. Lu Ming burst out with his aura and brandished his spear. Several iron chains were sent flying by Lu Ming. A mere cultivation of the peak 2nd layer Martial Emperor realm dares to resist, you're courting death. The zombie guard yelled as he controlled the corpse with the cultivation of the peak 3rd layer Martial Emperor realm to lunge at Lu Ming. As for the other 4 zombie guards, they stood to the side and didn't make a move. It was as if they were watching a good show. I can't be bothered to play with you. Die. Lu Ming coldly shouted. The concept of thunder soared into the sky, combining with Lu Ming's spear style. Whoosh. The spear pierced out, turning into a lightning spear light that pierced through everything. Refined corpses were naturally afraid of lightning. Moreover, Lu Ming's thunder concept had already reached the middle stage of level 1 lesser completion. With a bang, the refined corpse was struck by the lightning spear and turned into charcoal. Lesser completion of thunder concept, the zombie guard yelled in shock. Die. A cold voice was heard from Lu Ming's mouth. Another lightning spear light was thrust out. The zombie guard was terrified and wanted to retreat, but how could it? The lightning spear light struck him directly, leaving a huge hole in his chest. Corpse chi was emitted from his body, and he was no longer breathing. Damn it, let's attack together and kill him. The other 4 zombie guards were furious. They yelled and controlled the refined corpses to attack Lu Ming. There were 9 refined corpses in total. 6 of them were above the 3rd layer Martial Emperor realm, while the remaining 3 were at the 2nd layer Martial Emperor realm. A bunch of trash that likes to play with other people's corpses. Die. Boom. Lu Ming held the spear in his hand. The spear light extended to 1,000 meters long and lashed out in all directions with a destructive force. Bang. 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 The 9 refined corpses were like 9 broken gunny sacks. They were sent flying by Lu Ming one by one, unable to resist at all. How is this possible? The 4 zombie guards were tongue-tied. Their eyes almost popped out of their sockets as they were filled with disbelief. Lu Ming, a mere 2nd layer Martial Emperor realm cultivator, how terrifying is his strength? Shit, fall back. One of the zombie guards yelled in shock. Without the protection of the zombie guards, their strength would be greatly reduced. It's too late to back off now. Extreme Dao Strike. Shoosh. Lu Ming merged with his spear and transformed into a beam of light piercing through the air. Puff. A zombie guard with a cultivation of the 3rd layer Martial Emperor realm was pierced through his forehead, dying a horrible death on the spot. 8. The other 3 zombie guards screamed in terror and fled in all directions. Not far away on the mountain peak, Han Man and the others were also dumbfounded. Attack, help Lu Ming. Han Man's eyes flickered with a hint of darkness as he uttered a groan and dashed forward. Following this, Mu Lin, Mu Sen, and Yarou Xian also dashed toward one of the zombie guards. Shoosh! Lu Ming seemed to have transformed into a bolt of lightning. In a flash, he appeared behind one of the zombie guards and killed it with a thrust of his spear. Following this, his figure dashed toward the next zombie guard. When Lu Ming killed the fourth zombie guard, Han Man and the others had also killed the fifth zombie guard. After the zombie guard died, the refined corpses remained motionless in the air. Brother Lu, you're really good at hiding your true strength. I didn't expect you to be so powerful. I'm impressed. Han Man and the others flew toward Lu Ming with astonishment. Han Man was the first to bring his fists together. Since when did a genius like Brother Lu appear in the Emperor God Palace? We didn't even know about it beforehand. It seems like our information is too outdated. Mu Sen also brought his fists together and said with a smile. As for Yarou Xian, her gaze toward Lu Ming was filled with curiosity and admiration. Lu Ming had killed the 5 powerful zombie guards with just a few moves. If she hadn't seen it with her own eyes, it would have been unbelievable. You're welcome. Now, seal your souls, Lu Ming said. After speaking, Lu Ming took out a soul-sealing crystal and started to seal the souls of the zombie guards. Normally, a cultivator's soul wouldn't dissipate for 10 minutes after their death. However, after 10 minutes, the soul would dissipate and be difficult to seal. Lu Ming took out a soul-sealing crystal and placed it on top of a zombie guard's corpse. Then, he injected his quintessential essence into it. Complex inscriptions appeared on the surface of the soul-sealing crystal. Then, it produced a suction force and pulled out a black mist from the zombie guard's corpse. This mist kept twisting and turning, and its shape was very similar to that zombie guard. This was the zombie guard's soul. The zombie guard's soul flew into the soul-sealing crystal. A layer of black mist appeared on the surface of the soul-sealing crystal. The seal was successful. Lu Ming put it away. On the other side, Han Man and the others only sealed the soul of the zombie guard they had killed. They didn't touch the other zombie guards that Lu Ming had killed. The soul belonged to whoever killed the zombie guard. This was the rule. Lu Ming didn't stand on ceremony and sealed the souls of the remaining 3 zombie guards. All right. Now, let's go and take a look at the profound crystal pit. A look of anticipation flashed in Lu Ming's eyes. The power Upanishad crystals were what he wanted. Chapter 519. In the depths of the scaled demon tribe, there were 7 stone altars. The 7 altars formed a circle, surrounding a large pit in the middle. When Lu Ming and the others approached, they discovered that a mysterious aura was constantly emitting from the pit. This was the aura of the concept of heaven and earth. This big pit was the so-called profound meaning crystal pit. Concept of earth. Lu Ming's heart shook, and he was somewhat disappointed. The profound crystal pit emitting the aura of the concept of earth meant that this pit contained profound crystals of the earth attribute. He couldn't directly use the profound crystals of the earth attribute, so he could only exchange them. Let's start digging, Lu Ming said. He directly walked into the pit, took out a large knife, and started digging. Clang. The large knife chopped down, producing a clanging sound. The stones in the pit were actually incomparably hard. However, under Lu Ming's powerful True Yuan, they were still shaved off piece by piece. Let's work together, Han Man called out. Mu Sen and the others walked into the pit together, took out various weapons, and started digging. The 5 of them worked together, and their speed was extremely fast. Soon, they had dug out a 3-meter wide and 10-meter deep pit. At this time, the concept of earth beneath their feet became even denser. The 5 of them were shaken, and they dug even harder. Soon, the pit was 20 meters deep. There's a profound crystal here. A crisp voice sounding somewhat excited. It was Yarou Xian. Unexpectedly, Yarou Xian was the first to dig out a profound crystal. Everyone looked over and saw an earthy yellow profound crystal embedded in the stone wall in front of Yarou Xian. It emitted a strong concept of earth aura. Miss Yao, put it away first. Han Man said. Yarrow Xian nodded and carefully dug out the profound crystal. She put it in a jade box and put it away. Then, everyone started digging even harder. Following Yarrow Xian's good start, everyone's harvest came. More and more profound crystals were dug out. These profound crystals were buried deep in the earth, and they were condensed after countless years. The 5 of them kept digging, and they found more and more profound crystals. 2 hours later, the pit was 10 meters wide and 50 meters deep, and they found a total of 26 profound crystals of the earth attribute. Haha, I didn't expect there to be more than 20 profound crystals in this profound crystal pit. It's already not bad. Han Man grinned. Until now, there was no longer any trace of the concept of earth in the deep pit. This meant that they had already dug out all the profound crystals in this pit. At this moment, Lu Ming suddenly felt that there was a stone under his feet. It was extremely special. This rock was the size of a human head. Lu Ming had dug it out earlier and placed it aside casually. But now that he looked at it, he realized that the color of this rock was somewhat different from the surrounding rocks. This piece of rock had a crystalline feel to it. On its surface, it emitted a faint fluorescent light. Lu Ming casually slashed the stone with his saber. When the saber slashed down, sparks flew in all directions. Lu Ming's saber bounced back. Lu Ming was shocked. The saber in his hand was a high-grade LV4 spirit weapon. It was incomparably sharp. With a casual chop, even a mountain would be chopped in half. Yet, this rock was not chopped in half. Only a mark was left on it. Han Man and the others looked over curiously. Interesting. Lu Ming's eyes flashed, and the true yuan in his body surged toward the saber. At the same time, the 3 intents were integrated into the saber. Then, he slashed at the stone. A loud sound of friction rang out and sparks flew everywhere. That piece of rock still wasn't cut open, but it cracked open. At the same time, an unbelievably strong earth intent spread out from the stone. This intent, how can it be so strong? Lu Ming was shocked. Han Man and the others also opened their eyes wide in shock. This earth intent was too strong. The other profound crystals of the earth attribute were like trash in front of this earth intent. Lu Ming felt his heart beat faster. Lu Ming moved his hand, and the saber in his hand disappeared, and a sledgehammer appeared. Wang! The sledgehammer smashed down on the stone. Bang! Gravel flew. The stone finally cracked, and the thing inside was revealed. A piece of crystal, a piece of glistening yellow crystal. This crystal emitted a fierce intent domain of heaven and earth. Everybody could see wisps of power Upanishad drifting in the air. Is this a mid-grade earth attribute profound crystal? Han Man roared, his voice trembling. His eyes burned with passion. A mid-grade profound crystal? The others were also very surprised. Their eyes were wide open as they stared at the crystal. A mid-grade profound crystal? Lu Ming was also shocked. Then, his true yuan burst out, and he grabbed the profound crystal in his hand. The rest of the people focused their gazes on Lu Ming's palm. Okay, now, let's divide the profound crystals, Lu Ming said indifferently. Han Man, Mu Sen, and Mu Lin looked at each other. Then, their eyes flashed. How about this? This time, we were able to enter this place because of Brother Lu. If Brother Lu didn't kill the Heavenly Corpse Sect's corpse guard, we would have to retreat. We wouldn't have the chance to dig out the profound crystals. So, I suggest that the mid-grade profound crystal belongs to Brother Lu, and the other low-grade profound crystals will be divided equally. What do you think? Han Man suggested. Okay, I have no objection. I have no objection either. Mu Sen and Mu Lin spoke one after the other. They were very straightforward. Only Yarrow Xian looked at Lu Ming with a complicated gaze. She was reluctant to part with the crystal. After all, a mid-grade profound crystal was too precious. In the end, Yarrow Xian gritted her teeth and said in a low voice, I have no objection either. Then, many thanks to everyone. Lu Ming cupped his fists and took the middle-grade profound crystal for himself without hesitation. Then, the low-grade profound crystals were divided. There were a total of 26 high-grade profound crystals, 5 for each person. Han Man took out 1,000 high-grade spirit crystals to buy the extra high-grade profound crystal and then divided it equally. Lu Ming didn't care, and casually put away the profound crystals and high-grade spirit crystals. Let's destroy those refined corpses. Otherwise, if the heavenly corpse sex people find them and take them back, they will be a disaster, Han Man suggested. Everyone nodded. Lu Ming waved his hand, and the lightning intent turned into spear lights that flew out, turning the refined corpses into charcoal. After dealing with the corpses, the 5 of them soared into the sky and left. In the next 2 days, the 5 of them searched for the scaled devil tribe within 100,000 li radius. They came across another scaled devil tribe, but this tribe was too big. There were more than 10,000 of them. Chapter 520. They took a detour and searched in other places. This plain was indeed a newly discovered plain. It was rich in resources. In the past few days, they had found about 50 level 5 spiritual herbs, spiritual flowers, and some level 5 refining materials. All of them added up to a high value. However, they did not encounter anyone from the Heavenly Corpse sect. Hey, what's that? Mu Sen suddenly pointed to a valley in front of them. The valley was not big, and there were red lights shining in the valley. Let's go take a look. The 5 of them flew towards the valley. When they got closer to take a look, they were immediately shocked. There was a large field of red spiritual flowers. Every spiritual flower was fiery red, like a burning flame, and emitted a strong medicinal fragrance. This is a level 4 spiritual flower, fire cage flower, Han Man exclaimed. Level 4 spiritual flowers were not enough to surprise them, but there were too many of them. They were densely packed, covering more than half of the valley. There should be more than 1,000 of them. It was unbelievable that a small valley could produce so many fire cage flowers. It was not normal. Fire concept. There is a faint fire concept here that is covered by the fire cage flowers. At this moment, Lu Ming spoke. Among the 5 of them, he was the only one who cultivated the fire concept. Although the fire concept was faint, Lu Ming could still feel it. Fire concept. Han Man and the others frowned, and then their eyes lit up. It's very likely that there is a profound crystal pit below, which contains fire attribute profound crystals. That's why there are so many fire cage flowers. Han Man said in surprise. Lu Ming nodded. He had the same guess. Immediately, the 5 of them plucked all the fire cage flowers. There were about 1,200 flowers in total. The 5 of them divided it equally, and each of them had more than 200 flowers. After the fire cage flowers were plucked, the scarlet ground was revealed. An intense fire concept filled the air, and it was incomparably dense. It's really a profound crystal pit. Ha ha ha, we're so lucky. Mu Lin laughed. Let's start digging. Lu Ming also smiled. Then, the 5 of them started digging. Indeed, not long after that, Han Man was the first one to find a fire Upanishad crystal. Of course, it was a low-grade one. The 5 of them dug even harder. Whoosh, whoosh. At this moment, the sound of something breaking through the air could be heard from the sky. 3 figures were flying in their direction. The next moment, they appeared in the sky. The faces of the 3 young men were filled with arrogance. The 3 of them swept their gazes downwards and revealed excited smiles. Haha, we're so lucky. There's a power Upanishad crystal pit here. We can make a fortune again. One of the young men laughed. Then, he looked coldly at Lu Ming and the others and berated, "Get out of here. This place belongs to us now." Ha ha ha, what a joke. The 3 of you, we were the ones who discovered this place first. Han Man laughed. So what if you found out? If I say it's ours now, it's ours. A purple-robed youth sneered. On what basis? Mu Sen was furious. Why? Because we're the lineal disciples of the Sheng family. Kid, look carefully. The purple-robed youth waved his hand and a shiny token appeared. There were 2 big words on the token, Sheng Tian. Sheng Tian token, Mu Sen, Mu Lin, and the others exclaimed. They were indeed the lineal disciples of the Sheng family. Now, You can get out of here. The purple-robed youth sneered. Damn it. Mu Sen growled. So what if you're the lineal disciples of the Sheng family? We found this place first. According to the rules, it belongs to us. The three of you, please leave. Han Man took a step forward and said in a sonorous voice. Kid, how dare you defy the Sheng family? You're courting death. The purple-robed youth shouted. Boom, boom, boom. 3 powerful auras burst out from the 3 Sheng family youths. The purple-robed youth was at the peak of LV3 Martial King Realm. The other 2 youths were at the early stage of LV3 Martial King Realm. The 3 of them released powerful auras toward Han Man. You've gone too far. Han Man shouted and a powerful aura burst out from his body. At the same time, Mu Sen and Mu Lin also released powerful auras and joined Han Man to resist the Sheng family youths. This, Yarrow Xian hesitated. She glanced at Lu Ming and bit her lips. She also released her aura. Lu Ming's eyes flickered and an inexplicable smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Then, a powerful aura burst out from his body. The 5 of them joined forces and their auras were no weaker than the Sheng family youths. How dare you? You still dare to resist? How dare you? The purple-robed youth shouted and a cold killing intent appeared on his face. Let's fight. I'm not afraid. Even if the palace master finds out, we're in the right. Han Man shouted and did not back down. Good, good, very good. The purple-robed youth was so angry that he laughed and said a few words. However, there was hesitation in his eyes. After a while, the purple-robed youth said coldly, I'll remember you. Today, I'll let you go. Let's go. Then, he waved his hand and flew away with the other 2 youths. In the blink of an eye, they disappeared. Let's continue to dig. We have to be quick. Otherwise, it'll be troublesome if the Sheng family comes again. Han Man said. Okay. Mu Sen and the others responded and dug harder. No one noticed that the inexplicable smile on Lu Ming's face became wider. Half an hour later, half of the valley was dug out by them. This time, they dug out a total of 30 fire attribute profound crystals. Unfortunately, the 5 of them didn't find any mid-grade profound crystals even after searching everywhere. Lu Ming sighed in his heart. If he had a middle-grade fire attribute profound meaning crystal, he would be able to condense the fire concept rune with the help of the fire attribute middle-grade fire attribute profound meaning crystal. It seemed like he could only go to the mystical treasure house in Tianxian City and see if he could exchange a mid-grade earth attribute profound crystal for a mid-grade fire attribute profound crystal. Moreover, even if he could exchange it, the handling fee would definitely be high. Let's leave this place quickly, Han Man said. Then, they divided the 30 fire attribute profound crystals equally and soared into the sky, leaving this place. A few hours later, the 5 of them were already 100,000 miles away. At this time, night had fallen. The 5 of them lit a bonfire and hunted several demonic beasts in the nearby forest and began to roast them. This plain also had demonic beasts, but their levels were not very high. Soon, the demonic beast meat was roasted golden and a fragrant smell assailed their nostrils. Haha, come, I brought some fruit wine from my hometown. This fruit wine is a specialty of my hometown and is extremely famous. It's brewed with 108 kinds of spiritual fruits. Try it. Chapter 521. Lu Ming received the jug and opened it. In an instant, a rich fragrance assailed his nostrils. Good wine indeed. Lu Ming laughed. Haha, of course it's good wine. Come, drink. Han Man laughed heartily. He lifted the jug and gulped down several mouthfuls. Come. Mu Sen and Mu Lin also lifted the jug and drank several mouthfuls. Lu Ming smiled and also lifted the jug, taking several mouthfuls. Feeling the rich wine fragrance, he couldn't help but exclaim, good wine indeed. On the side, Yarrow Xian also drank several mouthfuls. Her cheeks were flushed red. Then, everyone tore off the roasted beast meat and mixed it with the fruit wine, eating and drinking in big mouthfuls. Not long after, the jug of wine was emptied. Even Yarrow Xian drank half a jug of wine. Her face was bright red, looking extremely cute. Han Man's eyes nearly popped out of his head. A fiery light flickered in his eyes and he quickly turned his head away. You guys, when do you plan to make your move? At this time, Lu Ming put down the jug and suddenly asked. The people he asked were Han Man, Mu Sen, and Mu Lin. Several people were taken aback, revealing a doubtful expression. What move? What does Brother Lu mean? Of course it's to make a move on me. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Han Man and the others' faces changed drastically, a trace of panic flashed across their eyes. Brother Lu, you're really good at joking. Why would we make a move on you? Han Man revealed a simple and honest smile. On the side, Yarrow Xian also revealed a doubtful expression, blinking her big eyes as she looked at Lu Ming. Until now, you still want to pretend? You think it's flawless, but you don't know there are flaws everywhere. Lu Ming's voice slowly turned cold. Brother Lu, did you misunderstand? Han Man's face turned ugly. Misunderstood? Hehe, from the moment I entered the scaled demon world, you guys came looking for me and invited me to join your team. This is really a coincidence, Lu Ming said nonchalantly. Brother Lu, this is really a coincidence. At that time, we had just invited Miss Yarrow Xian to join our team and we were missing one person. Coincidentally, we saw Brother Lu coming in and invited Brother Lu. Han Man explained. Alright, that's reasonable. However, you guys were too generous when we found the mid-rank profound crystal. How precious is a mid-rank profound crystal? One of them is equal to 1,000 low-rank profound crystals. However, you guys are so generous, giving it to me without even thinking. Ordinary people would be reluctant to give it to me, but you guys don't. This is abnormal. It's simple, you just want to gain my trust. Also, you guys were only putting on a show with the help of the Sheng clan previously. Those from the Sheng clan have always been lofty and arrogant. How could they possibly back off just because of a few words from you guys? Ordinary people wouldn't dare to go against the Sheng family. Yet, you guys did it, displaying a fearless appearance. Yet, the people of the Sheng family retreated. Hehe, you guys are just trying to lower my guard and gain my trust. Unfortunately, you guys are too good at acting. Lu Ming explained calmly. Han Man, Mu Sen, and Mu Lin's faces turned ugly. Suddenly, Yarrow Xian's body trembled and her face turned pale. She seemed to have lost all her strength and fell to the ground. What's going on? Why do I feel so weak all of a sudden? I can't even circulate my Jin Yuan. Yarrow Xian cried out in a panic. At this time, Lu Ming's face also changed and turned pale. His body leaned back slightly and he roared, You guys, you poisoned the wine. Poisoned? No, Brother Lu, don't talk nonsense. Han Man denied. You're still denying it. My body is weak now and I can't circulate my Jin Yuan. This is clearly poison. Lu Ming roared. I'm poisoned too. Why are you guys fine? Yarrow Xian looked at the three of them in a panic. Han Man and the other two were indeed completely fine. Han Man looked at Lu Ming carefully and the light in his eyes became brighter. Then, he laughed complacently. Ha ha ha, Lu Ming, you're really poisoned. You've been poisoned by the 10 fragrance tendon weakening powder. Your body is weak and you can't circulate your Jin Yuan. Now, you're a fish on the chopping block. You guys really poisoned me? Why? Yarrow Xian cried out in disbelief. Why? Isn't it because this kid overestimated himself and even dared to offend the Saint clan? Isn't he courting death? You're just a tool for us to use. Han Man glanced at Yarrow Xian and his face was gloomy. The honest look from before was nowhere to be seen. Mu Sen and Mu Lin's expressions were similar. You guys dragged Yarrow Xian in to lower my guard. However, there's one thing that I can't figure out. Lu Ming said. Oh, what is it? I don't mind explaining it to you. Han Man smiled complacently. He wasn't afraid of Lu Ming stalling for time because the longer the effect of the 10 fragrance tendon weakening powder was, the stronger it would be. If the Saint clan wants to deal with me, they can just send experts to kill me. Why would they send you guys to approach me and poison me secretly? My cultivation isn't strong enough for the Saint clan to send people to assassinate me. Lu Ming said. Hehe, Lu Ming, It's easy for the Saint clan to kill you. However, wouldn't it be letting you off too easily if they just killed you like that? What the Saint clan wants is for you to lose your reputation and go down in history in infamy. Let's say you did something inappropriate to Yarrow Xian and killed her after that. At that time, we just happened to arrive and take you down. In that case, how do you think the upper echelons of the Emperor Sky Divine Palace and Miss Mulin's would look at you? Han Man sneered. Lu Ming had a sudden realization. It turned out that this was the motive of the Sheng family. They wanted to ruin his reputation. They were really vicious. Yarrow Xian's face was incomparably pale. Fear flashed in her eyes as her body trembled non-stop. She cried out, "I don't know anything. I beg you, let me go. Let you go." How is that possible? If you want to blame someone, blame your bad luck. Han Man sneered. His gaze swept over Yarrow Xian's body, revealing a blazing light. He said, "Lu Ming, I'll help you with the matter of helping this chick." "Ha ha." Han Man smiled lecherously and walked towards Yarrow Xian. "No, don't come over, you beast." Yarrow Xian's body trembled even more violently as tears streamed down her face. She had never thought that Han Man, who looked so honest and kind, would be such a beast in human face. "Yarrow Xian, it's a pity for a beauty like you to die. Before you die, let me give you a good time." Han Man smiled lecherously. At the side, Mu Sen and Mu Lin revealed an envious expression. "Scum like you, who knows how many people have been deceived by you? Living in this world is simply a waste of air." At this time, Lu Ming sighed. "Lu Ming, you're about to die, yet you're still talking nonsense. You're asking for a beating." Chapter 522. Pa. In the next moment, a crisp slap was heard. With a blood-curdling scream, Mu Lin's body was sent flying far away. He crashed into a tree and fell to the ground, coughing up blood. Han Man's foot stopped in midair. His face was filled with shock, and his entire body stiffened. Mu Sen's face was also filled with shock. At this moment, Lu Ming stood up slowly. His originally pale face had turned rosy. His body was filled with vital essence and a powerful aura was exuded from him. Han Man's eyes widened as if he had seen a ghost. He shouted, "How is this possible? You drank a jar of wine and were poisoned by the 10 fragrant tendon weakening powder. Even a greater mastery king would feel weak after eating it. How are you fine?" Han Man screamed in disbelief. "I forgot to tell you that poison doesn't work on me," Lu Ming said indifferently. His voice was cold. He had the bloodline of the 9 dragons. Any poison that entered his body would be devoured. The 10 fragrant tendon weakening powder was colorless and odorless. However, when Lu Ming drank the first mouthful of wine, the 9 dragons' bloodline detected it and devoured it. Lu Ming pretended not to know and drank the entire jar of wine on purpose. He wanted to see what Han Man and the others were up to. Han Man and Mu Sen's bodies trembled slightly. They had seen Lu Ming's battle prowess against the Heavenly Corpse sect. It wasn't something they could resist. Go inform the Sheng family." Han Man roared, and at the same time, he quickly retreated. On the other side, Mu Sen also retreated quickly. As for Mu Lin, they couldn't care less. "You want to leave? It's not that easy. Die." Whoosh. A thunder spear radiance instantly traversed a distance of 10 miles and pierced through Mu Sen's chest. He was killed in one move. Whoosh. Then, Lu Ming used the 9 dragons' heaven stomping steps and chased after Han Man. No. Han Man's expression changed drastically. He waved his hand, and a beam of light shot into the sky. It was a signal. "Help, help." Han Man screamed as he ran. At this time, he was almost scared out of his wits. Usually, he relied on his simple and honest appearance to gain the trust of many people and secretly harm many people. Seeing those who had begun to trust him die in front of him, he felt incomparably refreshed. Now, when he saw that Mu Sen had been killed, he felt a chill run down his spine. He was terrified beyond compare. Die. The 9 dragons' heaven stomping steps was extremely fast. In an instant, he caught up with Han Man. "No, don't kill me, help." Han Man roared hysterically as he ran for his life. But, It was all in vain. The terrifying lightning spear projection pierced through the void and blasted a large hole in Hanman's chest. No, no, I don't want to die. Save me, save me. Looking at the big hole in his chest, Hanman didn't die yet. He screamed in terror. His eyes were filled with incomparable regret. If he had known earlier, he would never have agreed to the Sheng clan's request to deal with Lu Ming. Unfortunately, there was no medicine for regret in this world. Lu Ming looked at him indifferently. Haha, Lu Ming, since you've offended the Sheng clan, you won't be able to live either. You'll have to accompany me sooner or later. I'll wait for you below. Seeing that he couldn't live, Hanman cursed crazily. Then, his vitality dissipated, and his corpse fell down without a trace. Lu Ming's Zhen Yuan swept up Hanman's storage ring. Then, his devouring power erupted and devoured Hanman's blood essence. His figure flashed and appeared beside Mu Lin. As Mu Lin screamed in terror, he stabbed him to death with a single spear. Rumble. At this moment, a violent rumbling sound came from afar. It was the sound of a martial artist flying too fast. Someone had arrived, and there were quite a few of them. There were dozens of them. All of them were experts. There were 5 or 6 auras that were unfathomable and incomparably dense. The Sheng clan's people are quite fast. Moreover, there are 5 kings in the initial stage. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. His figure flashed as he took Mu Sen's blood essence and storage ring. Save me, Yarou Xian called out. Lu Min's expression changed. He appeared beside Yarou Xian and hugged her waist. Then, his figure soared into the sky and flew away at extreme speed. Yarou Xian was involved because of him. If he left her alone, it wouldn't be Lu Ming's style. Damn it, it's Lu Ming and Hanman. Those trash can't even do such a thing. Chase after him and kill him. A furious roar rang out. Chase. Swish. Swish. The sound of air being torn rang out continuously. At least 20 people chased after Lu Ming at extreme speed. Sheng Kong, Sheng Wei, Sheng Feng, and Sheng Jiang. Lu Ming's eyes flashed as he saw a few familiar faces in the crowd. I won't play with you guys now. When my cultivation increases, I won't let any of you off. Lu Ming snorted coldly and used the 9 Dragons' Heaven Stomping Steps. The 9 Dragons' Heaven Stomping Steps was unbelievably fast. He could fly 100 miles in an instant. After a while, the people of the Sheng family had been left behind by Lu Ming. Lu Ming didn't stop. He continued to fly 100,000 miles before he found an extremely hidden underground cave and went in. 100,000 miles away from Lu Ming, the people of the Sheng family stopped. The leader was Sheng Yu. At this moment, Sheng Yu's face was extremely ugly as he roared, "Search! We must find that bastard Lu Ming." Yes. Immediately, the 20 or so Sheng family geniuses were divided into 5 teams. Each team was led by an early-stage king. They spread out and continued to pursue. Lu Ming carried Yarou Xian into an underground cave. "Put me down," Yarou Xian called softly. At this moment, her little face was so red that it was about to bleed. She was very cute. Just now, she had been in Lu Ming's arms. Feeling the masculine aura of Lu Ming, her heart raced and her body heated up. "Oh!" Lu Ming nodded and gently put Yarou Xian down. There was a look of reluctance on his face. Yarou Xian's face became even redder. "Ahum, Miss Yarou Xian, the 10 fragrant tendon weakening powder will wear off in 3 days. You can stay here for a while and leave after 3 days," Lu Ming said. "You? Where are you going?" Yarou Xian asked. "Me? Of course I'm going to find the bastard of the Sheng family." Lu Ming smiled coldly. "Find the Sheng family?" Yarou Xian exclaimed. Lu Ming still dared to find the Sheng family. Shouldn't he be avoiding the Sheng family now? She couldn't figure it out. "Miss Yao, goodbye." Lu Ming cupped his fists and then left the underground cave. He appeared on an ancient tree. After a while, Lu Ming appeared in the Temple of Paragon with a thought. I wonder how many supreme-grade spiritual crystals there are. It should be enough for me to break through to the 3rd level Martial King realm. Chapter 524. Following this, Lu Ming immersed his mind into the storage rings. Lu Ming did not pay attention to the other things. He first took out all the supreme spiritual crystals. Han Man, Mu Sen, and Mu Lin had around 100,000 supreme spiritual crystals in total. In addition to the 60,000 supreme spiritual crystals that Lu Ming had, Lu Ming now had a total of 160,000 supreme spiritual crystals. 160,000 supreme spiritual crystals is enough for me to break through to the third layer Martial King realm. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. He then waved his hand and 20,000 supreme spiritual crystals floated in the air. Bang! 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 The 20,000 supreme spiritual crystals all exploded. Lu Ming controlled the Nine Dragons bloodline to devour the spiritual qi in the crystals and began to break through to the third layer Martial King realm. Soon, the 20,000 supreme spiritual crystals were all refined. Lu Ming took out another 20,000 supreme spiritual crystals. Another 20,000 supreme spiritual crystals. Very soon, Lu Ming had refined a total of 120,000 supreme-grade spirit crystals. Break. The 120,000 supreme spiritual crystals had turned into true force, which was extremely powerful. The ferocious true qi continued to surge toward the third-layer Martial Emperor Realm Cultivator. Boom! After a short while, Lu Ming's aura rose rapidly with a loud explosion. He had broken through to the third-layer Martial King realm. After consuming 120,000 supreme spiritual crystals, Lu Ming's cultivation had finally broken through to the third-layer Martial King realm, greatly increasing his strength. Continue. Lu Ming took out the last 40,000 supreme spiritual crystals and devoured them all to increase his cultivation. Soon, the last 40,000 supreme spiritual crystals had all been converted into Lu Ming's true force. Lu Ming's cultivation had reached the peak of the early stage of the third-layer Martial King realm. He had not broken through to the mid-stage of the third-layer Martial King realm. After reaching the third-layer Martial King realm, the amount of supreme spiritual crystals needed to break through had increased again. I wonder how the early stage of the third-layer Martial King realm will fare against a Martial King realm minor success. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. The next moment, he left the Temple of Paragon and flew up into the sky. Soon, he had traveled tens of thousands of miles. Suddenly, Lu Ming stopped in his tracks. Up ahead, there were 6 figures flying at high speed. Suddenly, Lu Ming, that's Lu Ming. Lu Ming is in front. Speed up, don't let him escape. Several loud roars rang out as 6 figures charged towards Lu Ming at lightning speed. These 6 people were none other than the 6 youths from the Sheng family. Lu Ming stood motionless in the void. The space trembled as 6 sacred family youths flew over and surrounded Lu Ming. A surging aura gushed out from the young man from the Sheng family without any concealment. 1 mid-4th level Martial King, 3 3rd-level Martial Kings, and 2 2nd-level Martial Kings. Lu Ming swept his gaze across the 6 youths of the Sheng family and was well aware of their cultivation level. Haha, this fellow actually isn't running. Could it be that he's scared silly? No matter what. This credit belongs to us. The youths from the Sheng family laughed and looked at Lu Ming mockingly as if Lu Ming could be easily manipulated by them. Be careful later. This fellow is not simple. The lower-level Martial King frowned. With Brother Qiong here, this fellow won't be able to do anything. Another young man laughed. Lu Ming's battle strength was strong, but there was still a gap between him and a lower-level Martial King. Thus, they were not worried. Are you done talking nonsense? If you're done, you can die now. At this moment, Lu Ming opened his mouth. What? The 6 youths from the Sheng family were slightly stunned. Boom. Lu Ming's cultivation erupted as a huge spear light swept out. The spear light swept out in all directions. Not good. The 6 youths' faces changed drastically. The lower-level Martial King in the lead unleashed a terrifying aura as he slashed out with his lower-level One Earth concept. The other 5 youths also unleashed their full strength. This was because they felt danger from Lu Ming's spear. Boom. 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 After 6 consecutive booms, the 5 youths from the Sheng family were pushed back like cannonballs. Even Sheng Qiong's body trembled as he took 9 steps back in the air before he could stop. How is this possible with your battle strength? Sheng Qiong's eyes were filled with disbelief. Lu Ming could push him back with 1 spear strike? How was this possible? He was a lower-level martial king. Lower-level martial king is just SOSO. Kill. Lu Ming shouted coldly as he took a step forward. With this step, Lu Ming's figure suddenly disappeared. He did not attack Sheng Qiong but the other 5 youths. Not good. Retreat, you guys retreat. Sheng Qiong's face changed drastically as he roared and chased after Lu Ming at the same time. Whoosh, whoosh. However, Lu Ming's speed was too fast. In an instant, he appeared in front of 2 third-level martial king youths. 2 extremely sharp spear lights pierced towards the 2 youths. Ah! Ah! The 2 youths screamed in horror as they tried to use all their strength to block the attack. However, now that Lu Ming had reached the 3rd-level martial king realm, how could they block him? The gap was too big. Puff! Puff! 2 spear lights pierced through the 2 youths' throats. Blood gushed out of the 2 youths and they died immediately. Devouring power burst out and devoured the blood essence of the 2 youths. At the same time, Lu Ming's true ether swept their storage rings into the Temple of Paragon. Then, his body flashed as he charged towards the remaining 3 youths. The 3 youths were terrified and ran for their lives. However, Lu Ming's 9 dragon sky-stomping steps was too fast for them to escape. After 3 consecutive screams, the remaining 3 youths from the Sheng family were all killed by Lu Ming. Of course, Lu Ming would not let go of the storage rings and blood essence. Damn it, damn it. You actually dared to kill the hero of the Sheng family. Lu Ming, no one can save you from heaven or earth. Sheng Qiong watched helplessly as the 5 Sheng family youths were killed. He screamed hysterically. Now, it's your turn. Lu Ming looked at Sheng Qiong. Haha, you still want to kill me? I admit that your combat strength is indeed powerful and has surpassed mine, but only by a little. If I want to leave, you can't stop me. Lu Ming, wait for the revenge of the Sheng family. Sheng Qiong let out a sinister laugh. His body then flashed, intending to retreat. Die. Extreme Dao blow. Lu Ming's body swayed like a dragon. He and the spear became one and turned into a shocking blow. This blow pierced through the void and appeared in front of Sheng Qiong in an instant. Sheng Qiong's pupils contracted sharply. He felt a fatal threat from Lu Ming's blow. Block it, block it. Sheng Qiong roared in his heart. His 1st-level initial earth essence was activated to the extreme. The earth spiritual power between heaven and earth gathered madly, forming stone tablets in front of him. In an instant, Sheng Qiong set up 99 stone tablets. The concept of earth was most adept at defense. But bang, bang, bang. These stone tablets, under Lu Ming's spear radiance, were like paper. In an instant, 99 explosions sounded and 99 stone tablets were pierced through, leaving a hole in the front and back. Puff. Chapter 525. Sheng Qiong's eyes widened like a dead fish, filled with disbelief. He had never expected that the defense that he was most proud of would be so weak and vulnerable in the face of Lu Ming's attack. Whoosh. Su Mo withdrew his spear and Sheng Qiong died. Since you want to kill me, you should be prepared to be killed by me, Lu Ming murmured. After devouring Sheng Qiong's essence blood and taking the storage ring, Lu Ming left the place. After a while, Lu Ming appeared tens of thousands of miles away and entered the Temple of Paragon. He sat down cross-legged and started to refine the essence blood. During this period, Lu Ming had used all the essence blood he had devoured to improve the 9 dragons bloodline. This was because given Lu Ming's current cultivation level, the blood essence of martial artists whose cultivation level was lower or similar to his would not be of much help to him in increasing his cultivation level. He might as well try his best to increase his bloodline level. The essence blood he had refined was also used to improve his bloodline. The 9 dragons bloodline was suspended above Lu Ming's head. There was a sanguine glow on its meandering body. The 6 silver chakras were shining brightly. Half an hour later, the power of the blood essence had been completely refined. Unfortunately, The 9 dragons bloodline was still at LV6 King Realm. Almost there. I feel like I'm almost there. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He felt that the 9 dragons bloodline was so close to being upgraded. Let's see how many spiritual crystals I have. Then, Lu Ming took out the storage rings of Sheng Qiong and the other young men from the Sheng family and put all the supreme spiritual crystals together. 180,000 spiritual crystals. There were 180,000 supreme spiritual crystals in the storage rings of the 6 young men from the Sheng family. Great. Continue to improve my cultivation. Then, Lu Ming started to refine the supreme spiritual crystals to improve his cultivation. After reaching LV3 Martial King Realm, he needed more energy to improve his cultivation. Lu Ming refined 80,000 supreme spiritual crystals to improve his cultivation from early LV3 Martial King Realm to middle LV3 Martial King Realm. He refined another 80,000 supreme spiritual crystals to late LV3 Martial King Realm. He only had 20,000 supreme spiritual crystals left. Sacred Clan, continue. After that, Lu Ming left the Supreme Divine Palace and flew in the sky, planning to continue hunting the people of the Sheng family. Since the Sheng family was hunting him, he would hunt them back. 2 hours later, in a mountain forest, 5 sacred clan youths were killed by Lu Ming. One of them was a late-stage Martial King LV4 Martial King Realm warrior. This time, Lu Ming got 150,000 pieces of top-grade equipment. After finding a place, Lu Ming continued to refine the top-grade spirit crystals. Not long after Lu Ming left, a dozen figures appeared in the air above the forest. It was Sheng Yu and the others. At this moment, Sheng Yu's eyes were incomparably cold. The dense murderous intent had almost materialized. Damn it, could it be that Lu Ming, that little bastard, did it? Damn it. A cold voice came from Sheng Yu's mouth. No matter who did it, they must die. Now, call a group of people to act as bait and lure them out. You guys follow me and lie in ambush. Sheng Yu immediately gave the order. Then, the group of people scattered and disappeared into the sky. At this moment, Lu Ming was trying his best to refine the top-grade spirit crystals. Not long after, another 80,000 pieces of top-grade spirit crystals were refined. Lu Ming's cultivation broke through to the peak of LV3 Martial King Realm. Then, Lu Ming refined the remaining 70,000 pieces of top-grade spirit crystals and raised his cultivation to the peak of LV3 Martial King Realm. Next, he would be able to break through to LV4 Martial King Realm. Once he reached LV4 Martial King Realm, he would be a lower King Realm warrior. However, if he wanted to break through to lower King Realm, he had no idea how many top-grade spirit crystals he would need. Sacred Clan, you will be responsible for all the top-grade spirit crystals I need. Lu Ming sneered. Then, he left the Supreme Divine Palace and flew in the sky to look for the Sacred Clan. Half an hour later. The Sacred Clan. Lu Ming looked ahead. In front of him, 5 youths of the Sacred Clan were flying in the sky. Lu Ming, that's Lu Ming. Surround him, don't let him escape. The 5 youths of the Sacred Clan surrounded Lu Ming. The leader of the group was Sheng Jiang, Lu Ming's acquaintance. Lu Ming, let's see where you can run to now. Sheng Jiang's face darkened. Run? Why should I run? Why should I run when you're giving me spiritual crystals? Lu Ming said with a faint smile. What do you mean? Sheng Jiang's eyes turned cold and murderous. He shouted, were you the one who killed those 2 groups of people? Lu Ming smiled but did not say a word. It was a silent admission. Damn it, Lu Ming, you must have eaten a dragon's gallbladder to kill so many of the Sacred Clan's elites. Let me tell you, no one can save you. Even the palace master will kill you. Sheng Jiang roared in shock and anger. Humph, the Sacred Clan wants to kill me. Can't I fight back and wait for you to kill me? What a joke. If I kill all of you, who will know it's me? Lu Ming harumphed as his eyes flickered with murderous intent. Lu Ming, who can you kill? At that moment, a furious roar could be heard in the sky. In the clouds high up in the sky, the sound of something breaking through the air rang out, and 12 figures appeared. The one leading them was Sheng Yu. Beside him was a lesser king, a peak 4th layer martial emperor. Behind them were Sheng Kong, Sheng Wei, and Sheng Feng. They were scattered in all directions, blocking Lu Ming's escape routes. Lu Ming's expression changed slightly as he said, "So you're trying to lure me out? It's too late now. I won't let you escape this time." Sheng Yu's eyes were filled with murderous intent as a terrifying aura spread out from his body. Fifth layer Martial Emperor Realm. Lu Ming's expression turned serious. There was a small gap between the third layer Martial Emperor Realm and the fourth layer Martial Emperor Realm. Although there was only a 1-layer difference in cultivation, there was at least a 2-layer difference in battle strength. The peak of the fifth layer Martial Emperor Realm was undoubtedly more powerful. Lu Ming was definitely no match for him. "You guys set up a formation to prevent him from escaping. I'll kill him. You're courting death." Sheng Yu had just given the order, but before he could finish, he roared. This was because Lu Ming had suddenly attacked. Whoosh! Whoosh! A dozen spear lights pierced through the air and pierced toward the Sacred Clan's young men. With Lu Ming's cultivation at the peak of the third layer Martial Emperor Realm, his attacks were fierce. Those below the lesser Martial Emperor Realm had no way to block them. Even if the Sacred Clan's young men were prepared to defend themselves, it was still not enough. Puff! Puff! Blood splattered everywhere as screams rang out. In an instant, 10 Sacred Clan's young men were pierced through by the spear lights and fell to the ground. Sheng Feng and Sheng Wei were among them. On the other hand, Sheng Kong, who had been standing at the back due to his weak cultivation, had managed to escape. But now, his face was pale and his body was trembling non-stop. Seeing 10 Sacred Clan's young men who were stronger than him being killed, Sheng Kong was so scared that he almost peed his pants. He frantically retreated. "Ah, damn it, die, die." Sheng Yu let out a hysterical roar as a terrifying aura burst out from his body. A crystal-clear saber light slashed toward Lu Ming. Clang! Lu Ming blocked with his long spear, but his body was shaken by the saber light. Kill, kill! Sheng Yu's saber light gained the upper hand. The saber light behind him swept toward Lu Ming like a storm, completely drowning Lu Ming. Chapter 526. True Dragon Strike. Lu Ming lashed out with his spear, summoning a 3-colored dragon, but it was instantly shattered by Sheng Yu's saber glow. Sheng Yu was a genius to begin with, and his strength of the 5th layer Martial Emperor Realm was 3 layers higher than the 3rd layer Martial Emperor Realm. Lu Ming had no chance of winning against him. Kill! Kill! Sheng Jiang and another expert at the peak of the 4th level of the Martial King Realm surrounded Lu Ming. Both of them were peak 4th layer Martial Emperor Realm geniuses. Their strength was extremely terrifying when they unleashed their full strength, posing a deadly threat to Lu Ming. With the 3 teaming up, Lu Ming was completely overwhelmed by the storm-like attacks. 9 Dragons Bloodline, Devour. 2nd Bloodline, Erupt. Lu Ming went all out, executing all his moves. Roar. The 9 Dragons Bloodline uttered a roar as its devouring force exploded, causing Sheng Yu and the others to be startled, as they could feel the force of their blood becoming unstable. As a result, their strength was slightly weakened. Otherwise, Lu Ming would not be able to resist their attacks. What should I do? I can't let this go on. Lu Ming's mind was racing. At that moment, if Lu Ming were to execute his extreme attack, he would have the confidence to kill one of the 2 4th-layer Martial Emperor Realm experts. However, the extreme attack would require him to unleash most of his strength, resulting in a brief moment of weakness. It might only last for a few breaths' time, but it would still be fatal. A person like Sheng Yu would not let go of any chance to kill him. On the other hand, if Lu Ming were to execute his extreme attack, he would not have the confidence to kill Sheng Yu. After all, the difference between their strength was too great. Die, Lu Ming, die. Sheng Kong let out a roar with a satisfied expression. Even if he was a genius, he would still die after offending the Sacred Clan. Bang! Bang! Lu Ming tried his best to resist the attacks. His body shuddered violently as his qi and blood became restless. In a moment of carelessness, he was slashed on his back, causing blood to flow out. Dandan, smash! Lu Ming suddenly slapped Dandan. Whoosh! The Dandan shone brightly and rapidly grew in size. It flew towards the sacred jade and smashed head-on. Sheng Yu's complexion changed drastically. He waved his hand, and a big net appeared out of thin air. It shone brightly, and covered the sky as it moved towards Dandan. Obviously, Dandan didn't expect the other party to suddenly throw out such a large net. He wanted to retreat, but it was too late. He was directly caught in the net. Dandan rushed here and there, but for a moment, he couldn't get out. Lu Ming's expression changed. He didn't expect the other party to take out such a large net, and Dandan happened to be restrained by this kind of net. Dandan wasn't afraid of anything that was energy, but if it was something substantial, Dandan wouldn't be able to rush through it. Haha, let's see what other tricks you have. Die. Sheng Yu laughed wildly. In fact, he was extremely shocked in his heart. Lu Ming was actually able to withstand so many moves under the siege of the three of them. It was simply inconceivable. The one who was most shocked was Sheng Jiang. Previously, when Lu Ming had just arrived in Tianqian City, he had attacked Lu Ming. At that time, although Lu Ming wasn't weak, compared to him, there was still a big gap. But now, Lu Ming's combat strength had already surpassed him. How was this possible? How long had it been? This was too terrifying. Kill, I must kill this little bastard, this monster. Sheng Jiang roared in his heart, and his attacks became more violent. Puff. Lu Ming's chest was hit by a palm, and blood spurted out. Want to kill me? Dream on. Lu Ming roared, and his eyes flashed with ruthlessness. Buzz. Lu Ming's long spear shook, and all of his strength rushed towards the long spear. His body twisted, and his spine was like a dragon driving the long spear, turning into a spear light that pierced towards Sheng Jiang. Extreme Dao Strike. Now, he could only go all out. Whoosh. Extreme Dao Strike pierced through everything. Sheng Jiang instantly felt cold all over, and his hair stood on end, as if the god of death was approaching him. Retreat, retreat, retreat. Sheng Jiang roared, and retreated desperately. He knew that if he didn't retreat, he would die. But in the next moment, he found that retreating was useless because Lu Ming's spear light was too fast, and it caught up with him in an instant. No. Sheng Jiang roared crazily, and his eyes were about to bleed. But in the next moment, Poochie. The pitilessly sharp spear light pierced through the space between his eyebrows. Sheng Jiang was dead. But at this moment, Lu Ming, because of using the extreme Dao strike, had extracted a large amount of true yuan, and his body felt weak. Although Lu Ming could quickly recover a part of his true yuan, it was too late. Die, die, die. Sheng Yu attacked Lu Ming as if she had gone mad. The terrifying blade light seemed to be able to split everything. Block it. Lu Ming's eyes widened. He gathered his remaining true yuan and combined it with the will of the heavens and earth to form layers of defense in front of him. At the same time, the devouring force of the 9 dragons' bloodline spread out in front of him. Bang! In the next moment, Lu Ming was still sent flying, and he spat out mouthfuls of blood. A deep wound appeared on his chest, so deep that his bones were visible. Lu Ming's heart had almost been split open. The terrifying blade light madly penetrated Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming frantically executed the true skill of the battle dragon to resist it with his true yuan. But in the end, Lu Ming spat out mouthfuls of blood continuously, and his face turned pale. He had suffered a serious injury from the previous attack. Lu Ming, I'm going to skin you alive and pull out your tendons. Sheng Yu roared. The other young man with a cultivation of the peak 4th layer martial emperor realm turned pale, and fear flashed across his face. If the spear had been aimed at him, he would have been the one to die. At the thought of this, he felt a lingering fear. Haha, bastards of the Sheng family, it's not that easy to kill me. Come on, I'll kill you next. Lu Ming laughed and pointed his long spear at the other young man with a cultivation of the peak 4th layer martial emperor realm. This made his face turn even paler, and his body involuntarily took 2 steps back. Not far away, there were 4 other young men of the Sheng family. At this time, their faces were also pale, and they looked at Lu Ming in fear. Lu Ming's strength had exceeded everyone's expectations. This time, the Sheng family was in a miserable state. When they entered the scaled demon plane, There were a total of 28 people, all of whom were geniuses and elites of the Sheng family. They had spent countless resources to cultivate them, but now only 6 of them were left. It was too miserable. Even if they could kill Lu Ming, they would suffer a great loss. If the higher-ups of the Sheng family knew about this, they would all be punished. No wonder Shang Yu was furious. "Little bastard, you can't kill any of us." Sky-breaking saber art. Shang Yu roared, and his body emitted a terrifying saber light. At the same time, his body shriveled, as if all his essence, blood, and qi had been sucked away. As his body shriveled, the saber light on his body became even more terrifying, as if it could break the sky. His aura was twice as strong as before. Secret skill. What a powerful secret skill. Lu Ming could tell at a glance that Shang Yu was using a secret skill. Chapter 527. Retreat, retreat. Lu Ming frantically retreated. He felt a fatal crisis. At this moment, with his injured body, even if he used the 9 dragons' heaven stomping steps, it would be impossible. He was afraid that if Lu Ming used the 9 dragons' heaven stomping steps, the terrifying pressure between heaven and earth would crush his heart. That was because the wound was so deep that his heart was almost exposed. He could only retreat. Kill. Shang Yu roared. He and his saber seemed to have become one, turning into a terrifying saber light that pierced through the layers of the void, appearing in front of Lu Ming and chopping down on Lu Ming's head. Lu Ming blocked with his spear. Clang. The demon-suppressing spear started to vibrate rapidly. Lu Ming could feel a terrifying force hitting the demon-suppressing spear, causing it to vibrate rapidly. The terrifying force caused Lu Ming's arms to go numb. He actually couldn't hold onto the demon-suppressing spear. Whoosh! The demon-banishing spear was sent flying. Shang Yu's saber light continued to chop down on Lu Ming's head. Block! Lu Ming roared. His eyes were bloodshot as he erupted his strength to the extreme. His left hand contained the devouring power of the 9 dragons' bloodline, and his right hand contained the power of the second bloodline. At the same time, the 3 intents merged into his hands. Bang! Lu Ming clasped his hands together and clamped Shang Yu's saber. Boom! The terrifying force made Lu Ming fall directly to the ground. Boom! Lu Ming stepped on the ground, and the earth let out a violent roar. The ground was like a ripple, violently shaking. Within a radius of 5 miles, it was swept away by a storm of energy and flattened. Lu Ming's hand was still clamping down on Shang Yu's saber. Die! Shang Yu roared. The saber light surged, and the saber carried a terrifying force as it chopped down on Lu Ming. Sizzle! Lu Ming's hands clamped down on the saber, and there were sizzling sounds and sparks. Unfortunately, he couldn't clamp down on it, and the saber was still chopping down on Lu Ming's head. Am I going to die here? A thought flashed through Lu Ming's mind. No, no, I cannot die. Lu Ming roared in his heart. At this moment, rays of light suddenly shone from between Lu Ming's eyebrows, and there were also traces of lightning swimming around. This is the lightning cauldron. A thought flashed through Lu Ming's mind. Ever since Lu Ming obtained the lightning cauldron, it had been lying dormant in his sea of consciousness without any movement. Now, as Lu Ming faced a life-or-death situation, the thunder cauldron finally moved. At this moment, Lu Ming seemed to be able to communicate with the thunder furnace. A wisp of his mind seemed to be connected with the thunder furnace. He could control the thunder furnace at any time to launch a fatal strike. Kill. Without any hesitation, Lu Ming controlled the thunder cauldron and blasted it out. Wang. In his sea of consciousness, the thunder cauldron let out a sound as if it was the beginning of the world. Then, it flew out. At the same time, a terrifying suction force erupted from the thunder cauldron. At this moment, Lu Ming's true yuan and essence qi were all absorbed by the thunder cauldron. In addition to true yuan and essence qi, Lu Ming even felt that a part of his life essence qi had been absorbed by the thunder cauldron. Life essence qi represented lifespan. In other words, Lu Ming's lifespan had been absorbed by the thunder cauldron. Boom! After absorbing Lu Ming's true yuan, essence qi, and life essence qi, the thunder cauldron flew out from between Lu Ming's eyebrows. Clang! Sheng Yu's battle saber was directly turned into ashes by the thunder cauldron. Sheng Yu's body shook violently, and blood spurted out of his mouth as he was sent flying thousands of meters away. Wang! The thunder cauldron flew into the sky and became as big as a mountain. Thunder rumbled like the might of the heavens. Then, the thunder cauldron pressed down, and endless lightning enveloped all the sacred family disciples present. Run, run, run! Sheng Yu roared as he desperately tried to escape. Run, run! Sheng Kong and the others did the same as they desperately tried to escape. At this moment, their hearts were filled with fear. They never dreamed that such a terrifying thunder cauldron would suddenly appear in Lu Ming's body. They felt that they were ants in front of this thunder cauldron. No, they weren't even ants. They were dust. They were incomparably tiny. At this moment, they were extremely frightened. There was only one thought in their minds, and that was to escape. In the next moment, the thunder cauldron pressed down, and thick lightning bolts swam freely. Whoosh! After a breath, the thunder cauldron shrank rapidly and flew back to between Lu Ming's eyebrows, disappearing. At this moment, Lu Ming felt extremely weak. His body was empty, and there wasn't even a trace of true yuan. He had lost a lot of his essence qi, and his body was extremely weak. He couldn't even fly, and he collapsed to the ground. This thunder cauldron is too terrifying. Not only does it absorb true yuan and ordinary essence qi, but it also absorbs life essence qi. Lu Ming smiled bitterly. King Realm cultivators had a lifespan of 1,000 years, but Lu Ming felt that he had lost 50 years of his lifespan. 50 years of his lifespan was too great a loss. A strand of my consciousness seems to be able to connect with the thunder cauldron. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He realized that a strand of his consciousness could connect with the thunder cauldron. In other words, as long as Lu Ming wanted to, he could control the thunder cauldron and launch an attack. But in the next moment, Lu Ming smiled bitterly and shook his head. Controlling the thunder cauldron to attack? What a joke! Not to mention that one attack from the thunder cauldron could suck out all of his true yuan and essence qi. He would be completely weak, and he would be at the mercy of others. Also, losing 50 years of his lifespan at once, even if Lu Ming was a King Realm cultivator, he wouldn't be able to use it many times before his lifespan ran out and he died. This thunder cauldron can't be used unless it's absolutely necessary. However, it can be considered as one more life-saving method. Lu Ming thought to himself. Shua. At this moment, the sound of something breaking through the air rang out, and Dandan flew back. Dandan was indeed magical. Just now, he was also covered by the thunder cauldron, but he was completely fine. Dandan, bring me to see if the people of the Sheng clan are dead, Lu Ming said. At this moment, he was so weak that he couldn't even walk. Dandan's body emitted a faint light, and it trembled slightly. Then, it rapidly grew to the size of a water tank. Lu Ming lay on top of Dandan, and Dandan flew around with Lu Ming. Within a 10-mile radius, it was a mess. There were traces of being struck by lightning everywhere. On the messy ground, there were corpses lying on the ground. It seemed that the remaining youths of the Sheng clan were all killed by the thunder cauldron. In one place, Lu Ming saw Sheng Kong's corpse. Lu Ming suddenly saw a figure crawling forward at the edge of the area covered by the lightning. This figure was in tatters, and his hair was all cut off by the lightning. However, Lu Ming could still tell at a glance that it was Sheng Yu. When the thunder cauldron flew out from Lu Ming's forehead, Sheng Yu was sent flying a few thousand meters away. Then, he fled frantically and almost escaped the area covered by the thunder cauldron. Chapter 528. Let's go. Lu Ming patted Dandan, and Dandan flew towards Sheng Yu. Seeing Lu Ming flying towards him, Sheng Yu was terrified. He kept screaming and crawling forward. Sheng Yu, who's the dead one now? Lu Ming laid on Dandan's body and flew above Sheng Yu, looking down at him coldly. Lu Ming, you've killed so many of my Sheng family's people. You have to die too. Sheng Yu roared. Hehe. I don't know how many times your Sheng family's people have said this. I'm tired of hearing it. Lu Ming smiled faintly, and his eyes were filled with killing intent. Wait a minute, Lu Ming, I beg you, don't kill me. I can swear a blood oath, that I won't say a word about today's matter. I beg you, spare me this time." Seeing Lu Ming's killing intent, Sheng Yu was scared and began to beg for mercy. "I still trust the dead more." Lu Ming was unmoved. "No, don't, Lu Ming. I know there's a profound crystal mine in the scaled demon plane. As long as you let me go, I'll tell you the location of the mine." Sheng Yu shouted. "Power Upanishad crystal lode." Lu Ming's heart shook, and his eyes lit up. A profound crystal mine was different from a profound crystal pit. A profound crystal pit could only produce a few pieces, and at most, dozens of profound crystals. However, the veins of the Power Upanishad crystal were different. Even the smallest one could produce more than 100 Power Upanishad crystal. And this was the smallest. If there were more, there would be nothing left. This was a huge temptation for anyone. "Tell me, where is the profound crystal lode?" Lu Ming asked in a deep voice. "As long as you promise me not to kill me, I'll tell you. Otherwise, even if I die, I won't tell you." Sheng Yu shouted. "You." Lu Ming's eyes flickered as if he was hesitating. Sheng Yu was on tenterhooks, afraid that Lu Ming would kill him. Hesitating for a while, Lu Ming said, "All right, I agree. I won't kill you. Tell me, where is the lode of the Power Upanishad crystal?" "Swear." "I'll only believe you if you swear a blood oath." Sheng Yu called out. "You talk too much. Since you don't believe me, then die." Lu Ming's killing intent exploded. "Wait a minute, I'll talk. There's a blue jade medallion in my ring of holding that records the exact location of that crystal vein." Sheng Yu shouted loudly. Then, he looked at Lu Ming expectantly and said, "I've already said it. You only need to take out the jade tablet and you'll know." "Oh." Lu Ming nodded, then patted Dandan and said, "Go ahead, Wang." Dandan shook and smashed toward Sheng Yu's head. "Ah, Lu Ming, you said you wouldn't kill me," Sheng Yu shouted, but before he could finish, Dandan smashed his head. His head exploded like a watermelon. "I said I wouldn't kill you, but it doesn't mean that other things can't kill you," Lu Ming whispered. "Dandan, can you take off those storage rings?" Lu Ming patted Dandan again. Dandan's body shook, and a ray of light spread out. It rolled up Sheng Yu's storage ring, and Sheng Yu's storage ring flew into Lu Ming's hand. Lu Ming was overjoyed. Then, he did the same thing and took the storage rings of the other young men of the Sheng family. Unfortunately, their blood essence was all gone because of the thunder cauldron, so he couldn't devour it. Then, Lu Ming found the demon-suppressing spear in a pile of stones. "Dandan, let's get out of here," Lu Ming said. Just now, the commotion here was too great. It might have attracted other creatures over. Right now, Lu Ming was in such a weak state. Any scaled demon, Di-Tien Divine Guard, or Zombie Guard would definitely kill him. Dandan immediately carried Lu Ming and flew away. After flying for tens of thousands of miles, Lu Ming found a remote place and entered the Temple of Paragon. In the Supreme Divine Palace, there were many bottles and jars filled with higher-grade pills, all of which were obtained from other warriors. Lu Ming picked up the first-grade healing elixir and swallowed the entire bottle of elixir in one gulp. There was a total of 9 elixirs. He began to heal himself. Lu Ming's body was at the peak of the 6th grade, and he was slowly recovering. The medicinal power spread throughout his body, greatly increasing his recovery speed. Lu Ming's muscles squirmed slowly. The muscles on the wound on his chest squirmed and new muscles slowly grew, covering the wound and finally covering his heart. Otherwise, one would be able to see his beating heart from the outside. It was terrifying. After the medicinal power of the healing pills was used up, Lu Ming took out another bottle and swallowed it. An hour later, Lu Ming let out a long breath. His injuries were finally stabilized. This time, it was really dangerous. Lu Ming sighed. To be honest, this time, it was out of his expectations. Originally, he wanted to wait until he had obtained more top-grade spiritual crystals and reached the 4th level of the Martial King realm before killing Sheng Yu. He didn't expect to be ambushed by Sheng Yu. Most importantly, Sheng Yu happened to be carrying a net-like mystical weapon, which perfectly countered the dandan, causing the dandan to lose its effect. Otherwise, with the dandan around, Lu Ming would be able to break through the encirclement. Therefore, Lu Ming was placed in a dangerous situation like never before, and was almost slashed in half by Sheng Yu's saber. If it weren't for the lightning cauldron, he would have died. Lu Ming guessed that the lightning cauldron was treating him as a temporary shelter. It didn't want him to die, which was why it gave Lu Ming a hand at the crucial moment. I should be more careful in the future. I shouldn't be careless, and shouldn't underestimate others. Lu Ming thought to himself. Following this, he began to circulate the true skill of the battle dragon to recover. Currently, Lu Ming's body was completely empty, without a single trace of true qi. The vortex in his dantian had completely stopped spinning. Lu Ming continued to execute the true skill of the battle dragon, but the vortex still remained motionless. However, Lu Ming did not stop, and continued to execute the true skill of the battle dragon. An hour later, under Lu Ming's persistent efforts, the vortex finally moved, and began to spin slowly. Slowly, a trace of true qi was born from the vortex, flowing through Lu Ming's body along his meridians. Nice. With a trace of true qi, things would be easier. Immediately, Lu Ming took out a pile of supreme spiritual crystals and began to absorb their qi to speed up his recovery. In this way, Lu Ming recovered his true qi while healing his injuries. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. 3 days later, Lu Ming had recovered to his peak condition. The injuries on his body had also fully recovered. Of course, the 50 years of life that he had lost could not be recovered. Lu Ming sat cross-legged, playing with a blue jade token in his hand, deep in thought. This jade token was the one that Sheng Yu had mentioned, the one that recorded the location of the profound crystal vein. Lu Ming had already taken a look at it earlier. There was indeed a map inside, and the location of the profound crystal vein was marked. However, Lu Ming did not rush over immediately. Is Sheng Yu really so kind as to tell me the location of the profound crystal vein? Even if it's for the sake of my life, I have to be careful of any traps. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories,